if you are new to Launchpad, some of this stuff might be a little more detailed than you might be expecting. That's okay. You can go to launchpad.io to learn more about our platform. It lets you build SaaS applications, bring them to market very quickly without having to write any code. So just go to launchpad.io to learn more and sign up to check it out. So we are going to go through a few new features here today, and we can get started. So, yep, cool. So I will introduce our speakers. We have three folks from our product management organization that are going to cover some of these topics. And we're going to walk through three enhancements to the platform here. We're going to talk about the new AI agent rules that are coming very soon. Very excited about that. We're also talking about a neat tool that's been introduced to let you easily create your data model and the fields needed for processing directly from a JSON sample. And then also we're going to talk about some new options for displaying and processing embedded data for your end users to make things actionable and easier to work with. After that, we will have a Q&A session, so feel free at any point along the way to submit your questions in the Q&A area, and we will walk through the questions for each topic. And then at the end, I'm going to wrap it up and talk about some of the upcoming events as well. So, hi everybody, I'm Tim Miranda. I'm part of the Launchpad Provider Success team. I work directly with providers to get their apps up and running in Launchpad. And I work with the product organization too, as we get feedback from providers and figure out what needs to come next. I'm joined by Frank Apap, also part of the Launchpad Provider Success team. And today we have three of our product management folks here to talk about some of these new things. We have Radhik, who's from our case management area, and Krishna, who's from our integration and live data area. And we have Pooja, also from the case management area. So excited to be able to walk through these topics with them. Just a plug for some of the upcoming events that we have. Next week, actually a week from today, we have another webinar that is talking about some simple patterns that you can do with generative AI and Launchpad to expand your SaaS revenue in 2026. So definitely go to launchpad.io and sign up for that one. And then our next What's New webinar is coming in December. You can find both of these if you go to launchpad.io and go to our resources and events page. You can find these, sign up for them, get them on your calendar, and look forward to talking about those things. Cool. So I'm just going to talk about something that was introduced this week, actually. It's our new theme for the Launchpad Studio environment here. So you can see it's kind of a dark theme. The branding look and feel has changed a little bit. This is a first step in an evolution here for the studio itself as we, make things look more robust and unified here. So I'm just walking through an example. You can see, the fonts, the colors, kind of matching with the Launchpad.io look and feel. I'm told that there's also a new light theme coming as well, that you'll have an option to choose between this dark theme and light theme. But just kind of wanted to show this off because it's a neat little change that for existing providers, you will see this in your development environment this week. Cool. All right, so we can move on from there. So I'm going to introduce Radhik. He's from our case management product organization, and he's going to talk about the new AI agent rules that are getting introduced very soon. Welcome, Radhik.
Tim, how are you doing?
Great, great. So let's talk about this. I'm really excited to kind of learn more about this, and I understand that these are coming very soon. Tell me a little bit about what's going on here with these new agent rules.
Yeah, so as you said, we are introducing agent rules, but this is not the first thing that we are adding to Launchpad. So we've had already Gen AI Connect capability, which is more facing for the processes and making this work automatically. Whereas the agent rules is something that, at least in this first iteration, is something more end user facing, like the chat that you can have on the right hand side of any place in Launchpad, so that you can, in a natural language, you can ask questions and get answers and have work done by Launchpad.
Cool. So why don't we go and take a look at what's going on here. So talk about um, what's going on here in terms of how the AI agent rules are being used in this example here.
Yeah, so in this example, we are having a classical travel request. So when you are, for instance, a manager of a group of people and you want to accept or reject their business trip requests, then you can ask an agent for any details or any summary, any calculation, like how long is the requested trip, or whether it complies with the company policy for business travel. You can ask simple questions and the AI can analyze all the company policies, all the case, or everything that the user has entered in the system, and it can give you the answer and can recommend actions that you can do.
Cool. Yeah, this is amazing. So this looks like this is as a first step, working with the end user here in a conversational interface here, and it's tied directly to the model, working within the workflow that the user is working on. Um, so what's the evolution here? So we see this with the conversational interface. Where are we headed in terms of this AI agent feature in Launchpad?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as everything in the AI world, this is evolving, and we are trying to kind of suggest some solutions here. So we are aiming at having targeted agents for particular tasks, because we identified that if you have a targeted agent which is scoped to particular job and it can be managed by other agents that are kind of orchestrators, we know that in such case we are dealing with lots of problems that other industry leaders might be struggling with. So for instance, we are getting a high level of the success in getting the right answers and getting the right tasks done. We are having lots of nodes on the way so that we can drive it in a more controlled way than just let it all to the large language model.
Mhm.
So that we are going to have this very well structured and built into our platform, so that our customers and their end users do not need to care about writing prompts. You do not need to do any prompt engineering, nothing. We do it all for you. And you do not need to care about things like hallucinations of AI agents or of AI, which is something that we probably all know that is one of the main, if not the main problems.
Right.
So we are targeting at such a structured approach to AI agents, and not only AI agents, the other Gen AI capabilities. That's our recipe for this.
Well, that's great. Yeah, I think that's so important here that, with it being built in the model here without having to write any code, that it works within the guardrails of your workflow, your logic, and what you've set up in your application, so that it's not really a guessing game. Like you said, you don't need to spend a lot of time engineering prompts and things like that. It uses what you've already built in the model to present this agentic experience to
Exactly.
the user. Oh, that's great. So, um, so I see that, this is sort of end user facing here, that the agent's serving the end users. Um, do we have any plans to introduce this kind of agentic capability to serve our application developers and our providers as
Yes.
well?
Yes, so we are very actively working on creating vibe coding in our authoring experience. So the same agentic capabilities will be used in our studio, so that you can at any point of time not only get help or support or be guided by hand by this agent, but also it is going to build the application for you. So we already have the blueprint capability, where you just put in what application you want to build. You just describe it, or you put some documents that you have, like technical documentation from your previous versions, even very ancient, of your applications. You put it into the blueprint and an application is generated. Then if you further want to polish this, then where the agents come, because you can either do everything manually as you've done for years and ages, or you can now leverage you will be able soon, because we haven't yet released this vibe coding capabilities.
Mm.
You will be able to leverage the same capabilities of agents there to do it with this buddy, the friend that simply knows everything about the system, knows how to create applications. It gets the knowledge about your application based on the input from you. So you can really build an application with natural language and very fast.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, I really like what I'm seeing here, especially with the example that's running right now, that the end user is asking questions, interacting with this agent, as if they're, talking to someone. And as a developer, I don't need to, write a bunch of code or deal with the
Mm.
types of questions that are coming in and engineer a complicated prompt or set of prompts to deal with this. If I've built my core workflow, my application logic, my integrations, that these new agent rules will be able to just take advantage of those and use the tools that make sense that are already part of my application. This is great.
Yeah, you don't need to know the system. You just talk and the answers come for you. You don't need to know where to look for various options, how to do something. You just ask it to do so and it does it for you.
Awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to using this. And I understand it's coming very soon. So our existing providers will be able to see these new agent
Yeah.
rules very, very soon. Thanks, Radek. I appreciate your time on this. This is awesome. Great. All right. So now we're going to talk about, again, this is another example of generative AI just kind of baked into everything that you do, whether you're developing with Launchpad, whether your end users are using your application, from start to finish here, we have generative AI throughout the platform. I'm going to bring Krishna on here from our live data product organization. We'll talk about this new tool that's coming that can use a JSON sample and just build out your data model very easily, just in a few steps. Hi, Krishna. Thanks for joining.
Hey Tim, good morning.
All
Thanks for
right.
having me.
Yeah, glad to have you. So tell me a little bit about this here. What is it that's being added here to the platform, and what is it going to do for me as I'm elaborating out an application that I'm building?
As you rightly pointed out, Tim, it's all about y- reducing the time that we spend on each task while we are developing things and just improving productivity. And one of the things while you're developing software applications, right, creating data model is always time consuming, especially with Launchpad. Once we come from Blueprint, you have your application and you're trying to integrate with like Salesforce, Stripe, PayPal, or some external integration platform. There are these JSON schemas available, but then creating an entire data model is often time consuming. So what we provided here is effectively you can directly take a JSON sample, paste it into a text box, go through a few steps, and it effectively generates the entire data model for you, start to end.
So, so do I need to have this JSON in a specific format, or like could it, I have JSON samples from as I'm building my application. So I have a retail application that I'm working on, and it integrates with QuickBooks, which is very cool. QuickBooks has JSON schema and model for, customers and products and other types of data. Do I need to convert that to something before I can use it in this developer tool?
No, this makes it really, really straightforward. As I'm saying, Stripe API, you can just go into an API documentation of whichever platform you're integrating, copy the JSON as I'm doing here, copy the JSON, directly paste it, and it should just work seamlessly. It also evaluates different structures that are available in the JSON sample.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, all right, yeah. So this is neat. You know, even before this was introduced, I think, building your data model out in Launchpad, especially you start with a blueprint and you set up your case types, your data types, you pull that into Launchpad. It's already so easy because you're not dealing with database schemas and tables. You're really thinking about, what are the fields I need for processing this type of object. So it already takes care of so much for you. And this is just another step here where it's even easier than that now. So that if I have an existing thing I'm integrating with, or I have types of objects I know I'm going to be working with, I can just drop a JSON sample in, and it looks like it's going to build out the classes, the fields, the embedded structures that I'll need, so that in just a few steps, I have what I need to start, whether it's an integration or data processing, whatever I need within my application. This is very cool. So do we have, along these lines, do you see other things coming in the roadmap, whether it's, other types of file formats or things that might be possible based on what's being introduced here?
Absolutely. So one of the things what we've done while building this feature is we did create these needed component. Effectively, what we are doing here is we take this JSON sample, give it to GenAI for it to create an intermediary JSON for us.
Mhm.
And what we do is we convert that into a rule. So we do have the building blocks to effectively support other file formats, right? This could be a Postman collection. This also could be a CSV structure in future. So there are things that will come in future. As of today, we do support JSON effectively.
Cool. Yeah, no, so this is great. I think it was already so easy to define your data model in Launchpad, and now this
Yeah.
is making it even easier for even with a complicated model or something that you're integrating with. It's just basically just drop it in and it gets built.
That's right. It also identifies all the embedded structures too for you. You need not create a single class. Whatever is there in your JSON sample, it identifies the embedded nested structures, creates all the fields, all the classes for you in one go.
Awesome. Well, this is great. And another example where, what comes out of this use of generative AI is not a bunch of code that you then would need to maintain later. It's building it directly into the model. So now you have rules that can adapt as things are changing in the future, very easy to modify and enhance and go from there. So, no, this is great. I understand this is coming very soon as well. So looking forward to trying this out in my own application. Thanks, Krishna, for your time. This is a neat tool.
Thanks,
Looking
Tim.
forward to it. Awesome.
Thanks, Tim.
All right. So, and then we'll move on to one more feature that we wanted to highlight for this month. Um, this is around embedded data when you're collecting lists of information from the end user, and some options where we've made those things actionable now. So I'm going to have Pooja join us. Thanks, Pooja, for joining. And let's talk about this a little bit.
I'm glad to be here. And
Cool.
like we see that embedded data, it's a great way to reuse the existing data model within a case workflow and build a modular design. And if we talk about a typical business workflow, the requirement is generally more than capturing the data into the embedded field. Now, if I take the case of health insurance claim process, a user can submit a claim case that includes multiple claim items, such as hospital bills, pharmacy invoices, or the diagnostic reports. So for each of the item, the system may expect the repeated user-specific details like name, policy coverage, and the policy number. The business may want to validate whether it's a valid claim within the policy tenure. At the same time, user has not entered duplicate invoices by mistake or otherwise. Now, this is required to ensure a smooth, accurate, and efficient claim submission experience. And that is where this capability comes very, very handy.
Yeah, this is great. So I like this because what you're able to do is, collect information from the user, like they're adding items to the claim. And it looks like from what it's showing here that the developer was able to define some reasonable validations, maybe some pre-processing and post-processing to transform whatever they're inputting and making sure that it's valid. And so all of that kind of applies to the embedded information that they're adding to this claim. So yeah, this makes sense, and I can see this being useful in other use cases as well. Anytime that you sort of are presenting the user with a list of things that you need the information for, you can prepare the data for them as they add to the list, and as they're modifying things, be able to make sure that the data they're entering is correct instead of kind of doing that all at the end. They get this more interactive experience, which is cool. So, all All right, yeah, and I can see where I can use this in a few different use cases here. So is this what's involved kind of under the covers here? It looks like we've made this kind of stuff actionable. Are there a lot of different rules here? Is it sort of more of a like, what do I have to do as a developer?
Very simple. So, like I said, we promote the modular design. So in this case, we have just introduced the action rule support for the embedded data in the Launchpad. The developers, they can configure the pre-post processing on the embedded data. Similar to how you can define these actions on the case and data type today, now you can reuse the same actions in the context of embedded data as well, which means now your system can validate your embedded data as and when the user is entering the embedded record. Now, going by our previous example and what you see on the screen, now when the user adds a claim item, the system will automatically fill the name or the policy number from the case context. It can validate the claim date is within the policy tenure. It can check for the duplicate invoices. It can also flag the high value claims for the additional review. And all of this is happening within the model, making the experience faster, smarter, and more reliable, both for the Launchpad providers, the developers, and the end users as well.
Right, right. Yeah, so built directly into the model. So this is cool. So in terms of things that are kind of coming in the roadmap similar to this, do we have other things coming or being thought about in terms of embedded data or sort of data management that you'd like to call out sort of in this general area?
Exactly. In fact, lately we have been doing a lot of enhancements to the product to make embedded data interactions more robust and intuitive. The users, they can already source pick lists from the embedded data using expressions like Krishna demonstrated. We can also now create the embedded data using the JSON. This work is also part of the same broader vision. And looking ahead, we are also exploring ways to improve usability further, like enabling data import for the embedded list that would allow bulk data entry. For example, in this case, if the user is having 30 claim items separately, what if they can fill in the template offline and they can upload everything in one single shot? That will just make the experience much more smoother. So yes, we do have a lot in store, and I'm excited about that.
Yeah, this is great. I there's a few different applications I'm working with now that I can just sort of see immediately where I would drop this in. So yeah, this is very cool. Well, thank you, Pooja. I appreciate your time and looking forward to trying this out. Thank you. All right. All right. So those were the features we're highlighting this week. I will say that you know, on any given day at this point, new features, feature enhancements, changes will be coming so that you can come into your system and you'll see some new things you can take advantage of, some enhancements to existing features. So it's not something where you need to wait around a long time for things. And so these are not the only things going on here. You'll see tons of new things coming in at any given time. And so the platform's evolving very quickly, and these are just a few things that we wanted to highlight. But yeah, I think let's see if we have any questions that we want to talk about for Q&A.
Sure, yeah. Just one came in over the chat too that one, and Radek had answered it already, but wanted to just make sure everyone saw that. Regarding the AI agents, is the model trained for other languages as well? Does it work well for other languages as well as it does for English?
Yeah, so the answer is definitely yes. So for the model, it doesn't matter what language you speak to it. It understands the meaning of the question or the message, and then it can even answer in your language, and while still performing all the tasks as if it was the application's language or any other language.
Sure. One other question for you, Radek. AI tends to hallucinate at times, and so how do you regard against your implementation?
Yeah. So as I said, we are kind of interweaving AI with some nodes to make it more deterministic at some point. So the smaller bit the smaller piece of work for AI, the more focused it can be, and much less hallucinations it gets when compared to letting it go into such a large application as you can build in Launchpad, right? You can build very complex applications in Launchpad. And if you threw it all to a single prompt or a single context even, this would be very prone to hallucinations. The way we do it by agents managing agents, and with lots of deterministic mileposts as we process your question. And this way we are kind of 99% or even more, 0.9% of reliability and hallucination free.
Great. We had another question come in. Does the AI have knowledge of the application or generic help?
Yeah, both actually. So it means that it has the general knowledge. So if you ask it whether particular date falls on the weekend, it knows what weekend means, and it can understand this and give an answer to you. But also it can get application specific knowledge, and it can understand the processes in the application and the data. So it has access to whatever you give access to, right? Because it's also a matter of data security and all the role-based access, which we control for you. You can tweak this. However, you define the areas where the agent is capable of giving you information and performing actions, and then it's fully capable of doing all this work.
Great. So Krishna, I had a question for you. Does the functionality handle any levels of nested objects?
Yes, there is no limitation on nesting. Like as I was explaining, like you can just take a JSON, go to a web page, any API documentation, paste the JSON, it'll handle all levels of nesting.
Great. And then does it make it easier to provide more imports like XML, CSV, etc. or in the future?
Yes. We did build the building blocks while developing the JSON import. So making updates to this existing piece of functionality to support more file types will be much more quicker in the future.
Great. Pooja, I had a question for you. Can I use this for external data sources?
Regardless of which data model you're going to use here, that data type is sourced internally or externally. You can use it as an embedded data, and the actions can be reused. So it's a modular design.
Okay. And then does this impact performance at all?
No such impact. It's like regular actions, how they perform, it will work the same way.
Great. So I had another couple questions. Well, one was, when are the features that we present today, when are they going to be available?
Yeah, I can take that one. So the actions for embedded data that Pooja gave us an overview on, that's actually available now in production. The tool to build your data model from JSON, my understanding, that's coming very, very soon. As are the new agent AI rules. Those are coming very soon and will be available shortly.
Great. Radek, I had another question for you. With data access to the AI agent, does it also include attachments and other unstructured data?
Yeah, so currently we are, this is work in progress, and literally this is work in progress. We are actively working on giving the ability to analyze, to read, analyze the attachments. Otherwise, similar to unstructured data, because our way to store unstructured data is in case attachments mostly. So this is not yet possible, but we're working on it. It should come around the beginning of the next year.
Great. I think that's all the questions that I had. Tim, do you want to summarize?
Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, I'm just looking through the questions here. So yeah, we saw some highlights of some new features today. And as we said, the embedded data action processing is available today already for existing providers. The other things that you saw are coming very, very soon. And we do have, if you have any other specific questions, please, reach out through launchpad.io and contact us. We'd be happy to talk offline.